It's official, he's lost his mind.
Wait till he sees this.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Gosh, it's been a while. I haven't posted a video on my channel since the last one about a violent murder. Anyway, it's the new year, and what better way to start than with a video about Yu-Gi-Oh! This totally isn't me desperately trying to recover from my original plan totally falling through, and now I'm rebounding by grabbing an old video that I never finished. Why would you even think that? That's silly. But before I get into any of that, I need to stop the crazy music and turn on the serious music for a minute, because I need to seriously address the audience about something. For a while now, my channel has sat at over 400 subscribers, and I just really want to say thank you for that. I keep wanting to say this in a video, and I write something up, but then I never finish the video, and I get all nervous, and I just really want to say thank you. I don't know what it is about my schizophrenic releases that has resonated with people, since some days I'm posting Yu-Gi-Oh! Meme videos and other days I'm talking about major social political issues, but I just hope that whatever it is that you liked about me so much that you subscribed, and whatever it is that's kept you subscribed so long is something I can somehow provide more of. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really mean it, and I hope you enjoyed and have a good rest of your day. Happy 2026. Alright, enough with the seriousness. Time to get ridiculous. Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards. It's a popular Yu-Gi-Oh! Game that needs no introduction, but I'm gonna give you one anyways because I'm evil like that. Ha 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 ha. Released in Japan in July of 2002 on the Game Boy Advance, and in America in November of the following year, Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards is a video game reimagining of the Battle City arc of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime with an unusual RPG spin. Despite the fond memories this game has generated, it's also been widely noted and even ridiculed for being way too easy, as even up until all the way in the late game, most opponents only have monsters with like 1,000 attack points, and almost none of these decks have any actual strategy or win. If you're watching this video and you don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh!, let me give you a quick frame of reference for how bad that is. The starter deck has 4 monsters with 900 attack points, and enemies don't start summoning monsters with over 1,000 attack points until halfway through the game. Pretty much the only duelist in the entire game worth anything is the final boss, who jump scares you Freddy Fazbear style with 2,000 attack monsters and unkillable divine beasts. Something else people have noted about this game is just how mean it is to the character of Joey Wheeler. In the anime and manga, Joey was basically the second protagonist. He always had Yugi's back no matter what, and he ran headfirst into the forces of evil, getting tougher and tougher with every battle. But in the Sacred Cards, the dude is relegated to a joke. He loses constantly, gets dunked on repeatedly, and gets robbed of one of his best scenes in the entire show. And all of his major battles are won by the player instead of Joey, so he doesn't grow as a duelist at all the whole story. One YouTuber in particular commented that he would have much rather played as Joey rather than the nameless new character, and so I decided to take that one-off remark to its logical conclusion and see if I can beat this game as Joey Wheeler. Well, it's either the most logical conclusion or the most illogical, but who's counting? And just to be clear, when I say I'm gonna play as Joey Wheeler, I mean the one in the actual game itself. That's right, we're using the actual in-game Joey deck, not his Battle City deck, not his Duelist Kingdom deck, not a deck made up exclusively of cards that he's played, but only using the deck that NPC Joey uses in the actual game. All that finally out of the way, it's time to get to the title of the video. Because I'm a little bit pretentious, I'm gonna phrase it like a question. Welcome to Can You Beat Yu-Gi-Oh! The Sacred Cards as Joey Wheeler? We name ourselves something appropriate and move on to the overly long introduction.
Is that Joey Wheeler? No, man, it's his cousin Jesse Wheeler.
I love how in the anime, Kaiba announces his tournament with a massive blimp, but here he just walks out into the street corner and talks to a room full of people before walking away. First thing we have to do is go to the card shop and put together our deck. At the card shop, we can use this card machine to punch in the codes of any cards and add them to the shop for purchase. Do not take a shot every time I say card, you will die. Now we have no money at this point in the game, so you might think we need to grind for some cash to get some, but I'm really committed to the bit, so instead I'm going to use these 2 secret codes to give myself a ton of money and extra deck capacity just to ensure everything goes well. But before we can import Joey's deck, we have to actually know what it is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and check the Wikipedia for a second, Powerhouse lineup, don't you think?
No one could win with these.
You know, I always remember Joey being unusually weak in this game, but I never knew it was this bad. This has got to be the worst collection of cards I have ever seen be associated with Joey Wheeler, and that includes his Duel Link starter deck. Most of these cards are things he's never even played before, and for some reason they seem to have given him a machine focus with crap like Steel Scorpion, Mechanical Spider, Jinzo number 7?
I was born with glass bones and paper skin.
Brother, I need a Jinzo number 1 just to have a chance at making this garbage deck work. It's got a handful of warriors like Eye Armor and Queen's Double, but they have such pathetic attack and defense points that these things would be better served as drink coasters than being summoned in an actual duel. Well, I love this card flavor text though. Even the game knows Queen's Double is useless. Who coded Joey's deck? Seto Kaiba himself? Oh, but hey, at least Joey's got his Time Wizard. This card is actually one of the few monsters in this game that has an effect, and its effect is pretty good. It turns any baby dragon on the field into Thousand Dragon, which has 2,400 attack points and is a fire attribute monster, which would be supremely helpful in this playthrough. Trouble is, I don't have a baby dragon in this deck. Not even one! And inputting all 40 cards of this garbage is going to take forever. So while I'm getting that sorted out, I might as well briefly touch on something that will be mildly important later. Now, there's something I need to explain about the rules real quick, and that's that this game has a rather funky element system. Now, normal Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty simple. Stop laughing, you know what I mean. Monsters all have attack and defense numbers, and when one monster attacks another monster, the one with the bigger number wins. Generally. In the sacred cards, every monster on top of their attack and defense numbers also has an element to keep track of. To simplify, if a water monster battles a fire monster, the water monster will always win. Even if the water monster has 0 attack points and the fire monster has like 10,000, the water element will supersede the attack and defense difference. And every element only has one weakness, so water will only instant kill fire.
Everybody got that? Good.
After finally putting together our deck, we can now take a look at exactly how screwed we are. We only have 3 cards that are actually worth anything, those being Cyberstein, Eye Armor, and Masked Clown. Yeah, I'm a Masked Clown. Cyberstein has 700 attack points, which isn't too bad in this game, at least at the start. Like I said before, this game gets dunked on left and right for being Super Weenie Hut Junior's levels of easy, so 700 attacks so far is tolerable. Masked Clown only has 500 attack but 700 defense, and it's a shadow monster, which means the aforementioned element system doesn't really apply to it since shadow monsters can only be instant killed by dream monsters, and almost no one in this game plays dreams. Except for Joey, ironically. He's got 3 copies of Time Wizard, did you forget? Eye Armor is the last semi-useful card at 600 attack points. When I was a kid, I thought this thing was a penguin. Joey has 3 copies of each of these, meaning that out of my entire deck of 40 cards, 9 of them are tolerable. Joey also has 1 copy of Red Eye's Black Dragon and 1 copy of Guilford the Lightning. If I can summon either of these 2 monsters, I've basically won whatever duel I'm in. Alright, enough of that. It's time to just bite the bullet and duel. Going around town, I challenge anyone and everyone to a battle just to see how much this run is going to suck, and discover pretty quickly that I may have exaggerated a bit as to how crappy this deck is. Everyone in Domino Town Square's decks are somehow even worse than Joey's, running cards with 300 attack baseline. Even my useless monsters like Ancient Jar can defeat these losers. With how weak my monsters are and the fact that every duelist in this game has 8,000 life points, duels usually take so long to finish, I actually managed to draw my Red Eyes and Guilford pretty consistently. Not that I even need them for these duels. In order to progress the story, I have to beat all of the named NPCs and claim 6 locator cards, defeat the ghouls, enter the finals, and finally beat Merrick. Let's start with Bones and his buddies, since these guys are not known for being too tough. And oh geez, yeah, these guys suck balls. They have decks that are stronger than the regular townsfolk, but only by a little bit. Bone Mouse has 400 attack points, whereas everyone else has Dark Plant with 300. I get to Bones and challenge him for a locator card, and oh man, just look at this. This is exactly why people say this game is so easy. Even with my terrible deck, my turn 1 Eye Armor and turn 2 Cyberstein have all but won this duel for me. I don't think you could lose to Bones even if you tried. After that, I decided to go check out Yugi's card shop, and it's here that you can actually have your first encounter with Joey as an opponent. So I figured what better way to test the power of not Joey's deck than with a mirror match. Joey makes the first move and summons— Wait, are you kidding me? He pulled a Cyberstein? That's the strongest card in my entire deck. I got nothing to fight back with. I try to play defensively, but I gotta draw my own Cyberstein quickly because I do not want him to have 2 or more monsters on his field. Otherwise, he might summon Guilford or Red Eyes, but he's only got 1 of those, so I really doubt—
Say hello hello to my pal Guilford. He's about to crush any hopes you had of winning this duel.
Oh! Okay, then. I guess he heard me talking smack about his deck and decided to prove me wrong. But sadly, the joke was on him, since next turn I drew Masked Clown, a shadow monster. And wouldn't you know it, shadow monsters instant kill light monsters. So, this entire exercise has been a farce. I draw my own Cyberstein not too long after, and the rest of the duel is a wash. He's got nothing left to throw at me, and 5 minutes later, seriously, these duels take so long when your strongest monster has 600 attack points. I win, and I get a Battle Warrior for defeating him. Joey, why are you giving this to me? Why isn't Battle Warrior in your deck? He's not a high-cost monster. Literally adding just one of these would improve the overall deck astronomically. Anyway, Joey pieces out and I get back to work. It's around this point in the run that I realize something kind of funny. Firstly, a big deal with the sacred cards is the ante system. Before a duel, you put up a card as a bet, and if you do this, your opponent will also put up a card as a bet, and the winner of the duel gets both cards. This is one of the most efficient ways of getting cards in this game, but since I'm doing a challenge run with only Joey's deck, betting cards isn't actually helpful to me since I can't change or modify this deck in any way. And on that note, if I hit a wall of some kind in the future, I actually can't get over it by grinding for more cards, since as mentioned, I'm not allowed to change my starting deck, as doing so would go against the rules of the challenge. I hadn't thought of this before starting the run, and now that it's on the back of my mind, I'm a little bit worried, because it means I have no lifelines if things go bad.
Do you think I'd be dumb enough to let that happen? Yes!
I move on to duel Esperoba, but to get to him, I have to first defeat his two brothers. I had thought that they all used decks of pure electric monsters, but I was actually wrong. Only Esperoba himself uses a deck of electric monsters, and his two brothers use mishmash decks without much theme. This is only important because they both have 3 copies of Hain, a wind monster who insta-kills earth monsters, of which most of my deck is made up of. Fantastic. In this duel, I've already taken out 2 of his Hain, so it shouldn't be— Oh, come on! This guy really does have ESP. The only other potential problem card is Lightning Conger. Conger?
Yeah, whatever.
This monster has 750 defense, meaning that my Cyberstein can't defeat it in a straight fight. Fortunately, it's an electric monster, so any of my earth monsters like Eye Armor or Ancient Jar or Queen's Double can get rid of it. The last and final piece of trouble is the monster Magician of Faith. As a light monster, she can instant kill my Cyberstein and even my Red Eyes Black Dragon. Unfortunately, she sucks eggs in this game, which is funny because if you can believe it, she used to be busted as heck in the old TCG. Anyway, I got to Esperoba and finally take him on. He starts the duel with the inexperienced spy to see my hand, but it's already over for him. I got Cyberstein my opening hand and I took out his Raincloud with a sneaky Ancient Jar, clearing the field for me to go on the offensive, and that's really all there is to say. As predicted, his deck is almost entirely Thunder, so one Ancient Jar is able to insta-kill pretty much everything he had to throw at me. Eventually, he summons Jinso number 7, but it's already too late. Also, he has Caterpillar. After this, I leave and find out that Bones has been defeated by a rare hunter and kicked out of the cemetery. Now, I was actually kind of curious how I'd fare against this rare hunter, since normally I don't have problems with him, but this time around I have a really bad deck, so he might actually— Is that Oguchi?! Yeah, no, this guy's beans. Seriously, who was in charge of balancing this game? The sequel game, Reshift of Destruction, was so ball-bustingly unfair that someone actually made a patch to make the game more tolerable. Now I'm really curious if someone made a counterpart of that for the sacred cards to give this game some teeth, because I would totally love to play that. That bit of embarrassment aside, I've got 3 locator cards, which means I can now challenge Rex Raptor to a duel. This is actually kind of funny, since as you may have forgotten, Rex Raptor got taken out of the tournament off-screen in the anime. All you see is him handing over his prize to Esperoba after he loses. But here, in the sacred cards, Rex is also a total pushover. That is, if you're not playing an insane challenge run with a ridiculous deck like I am, because oh boy, we gotta talk about field spells now. Rex begins all of his duels with the field spell Wasteland, which strengthens his rock, zombie, and dinosaur monsters by 20%, and with my monster's attack values being in the gutter, this was not good news for me. His wimpiest dinosaur is the Tomasaurus, who normally has 500 attack points, but on the Wasteland field, he's boosted all the way up to 650, meaning only my Cyberstein and Masked Clown are a match for him. But here's a shocker for you, Rex actually has tribute monsters. Rex has Sword Arm of Dragon, who in this game on the Wasteland field is powered all all the way up to 2,275 attack points. If this thing hits the board, the duel is over. And that's not even the half of it. On top of his Tomazaurus, he's got Hanawa, who has the same attack, so basically he's got double the dinosaurs to throw my way, and 3 copies of Muka Muka, who on the Wasteland is powered all the way up to 780 attack points, which is stronger than anything I've got. But you want to hear what's even funnier than 780? 900. That's right. Rex Raptor has 3 of these bad boys, the Nightmare Scorpions. It's also at this point that another problem presents itself. Rex is far from the strongest duelist in this game, and to beat him, I'm gonna need to summon either Red Eyes or Guilford in order to have a chance. But the thing is, I only have one of those cards, so even if I get a super optimal hand containing Cyberstein, Mask Clown, or Eye Armor, and Rex gets a really bad hand allowing me to summon more than one of these monsters to the field, then I also need to get lucky to draw my Red Eyes or Guilford before Rex can summon Nightmare Scorpion or Muka Muka.
You what?
These odds are terrible! This game up until now has been a total cakewalk, and even if I was playing with the original base starter deck, I'd still be sitting comfortably with cards like Doron and Skellinger in my deck. But with Joey's deck of obsolete machines and reject warriors, I'm living on a prayer. I keep throwing myself at Rex to see if I can make something work, and the guy has the absolute nerve to throw a Red Eyes Black Dragon at me.
My supreme monster is a dragon, but of a different sort. The Red Eyes Black Dragon!
That's supposed to be my card. I bet you nobody even knew that Rex had a Red Eyes Black Dragon in this game, because I don't think a single one of them ever let the guy actually summon it before. Deciding that this is a lost cause, I decided to move the plot forward another way by facing off against Arcana in the card shop. This turned out to be just as bad as dueling Rex. In fact, I think Arcana might even be worse. Like Rex, Arcana starts his duel with a field spell, except his is Darkness, which actually powers up all of his fiends and spellcasters. Wretched Ghost of the Attic. I cannot get over the fact that that's actually what they named this poor creature. This thing is an absolute menace, with a base stat of 550 attack points, which rises all the way up to 715. Curtain of the Dark Ones gets juiced up to 780, as does his Candle of Fate. And if you let him coast on his monsters for too long, he'll hit you with a Dark Magician, boosted all the way up to 3250 attack points. Somebody save me. On top of all that, he's got Mystery Hand, Mystic Lamp, and Mask Clown. You're a Mask Clown. Speaking of which, I just realized Rex Raptor over here just really wants to show off how much he despises me, because he's actually running an upgraded version of my own deck. Just like me, he's also got Eye Armor, Ancient Lamp, Mechanical Spider, Queen's Double. With all these terrible cards in his deck and mine, it's like we're competing in the Incompetence Olympics over here. And somehow I keep coming home with the gold. But if you take in everything I just told you and you do the math, there's actually a chance here. Rex and Arcana both have several copies of monsters weaker than my Cyberstein and Mask Clown, and Arcana specifically has a deck chock full of shadow monsters, which can be instant killed by my Time Wizard, and his Candle of Fate is fire, which dies to Arm Ninja's water, and Rex's deck contains almost all the same garbage monsters my deck had, which means both of us have a deck that's predominantly garbage with 2 or 3 good cards. The 2 biggest problems is that when I duel Arcana, I need to have the right elemental counter at the right time, and in the case of Rex, I just have too few monsters who are actually good for anything to capitalize on the few times he gets dead draws. But if I've learned anything from Man of Popsicles, it's that if it's popsicle, it's possible. And so, armed with knowledge, I throw myself into the fray, challenging to pair them over and over again, alternating whenever I get sick of losing to one or the other. At a certain point, I just start giving up runs entirely if either of them summons a monster I know I can't beat, like the Nightmare Scorpion or the Dark Magician. And then, the craziest RNG seed happened. I started a duel with Cyberstein, off to a good start, but meaningless if Rex plays Muka Muka or Nightmare Scorpion. But he doesn't. He bricks. He's got nothing but trash. Trouble is, while I got Cyberstein in the field, the rest of my hand is absolute garbage. We start going back and forth. I set a terrible monster, it gets destroyed. I destroy the one that attacked it, and we rinse and repeat. I cannot believe how bad Rex's luck is in this duel. But the only thing worse is my own. I keep drawing cards I can't do anything with. I get nervous. I know that sooner or later Rex's run of bad cards is going to come to an end, but I need to draw something. Something I can use before then. I get 2 Cybersteins on the field and start going for direct attacks. And with this, I've got all 3 of my Cybersteins. I just might be able to beat him down with this all on its own. It's...
Ah, I'm a guy. Thank you, forever.
What? Nightmare Scorpion. What an apt name, because this thing is plaguing my dreams. It's cool, though. It's cool. I still got 5 monsters. As long as I have those, I can...
Sword Arm of Dragon!
I'm okay. Why does this deck not have any single tribute monsters? Joey's played so many! Flame Swordsman, Guiltia, Garuzis, I'd settle for freaking Battlestar, just give me something to work with!
Go! Red Eyes Black Dragon! If all my defenses are blocked, then I'll just have to take to the offense. Inferno Fire Blast!
After getting the sweetest catharsis, take that, sucker, how does it feel? I came upon a horrifying realization. Beating Rex means the odds, though slim, are doable, which in other words means I have to go fight Arcana to death. I have no idea how YouTubers like Jono can grind for 30 plus hours, but to my absolute insane surprise, I actually nail the son of a gun the very next time I challenge him. Check this out. I throw down my Cyberstein turn 1, and something I had never even seen before happened. Arcana plays red medicine and passes. I didn't even know that was possible. I summoned the second strongest monster on my hand, a frickin' Jinzo number 7, and go to town, and he responds with a defense position monster? Since my hand is garbage, I decide to discard everything but Arm Ninja and one bat. I place bat in defense mode as bait, and I keep the Arm Ninja just in case he decides to pull a Candle of Fate on me. I attack his face down monster, and it's a masked clown, which means I can't destroy it. Then it happens. The dumbest move that basically wins me the whole game right there. Arcana draws yet another awful card and summons it, the Mystic Lamp, and rather than destroy my Jinzo number 7, the AI is programmed to use its effect, which deals me damage and prevents the lamp from attacking that turn. But the best part is, he switches his masked clown into attack mode and attacks my bat with it! You really are a masked clown! I summon Eye Armor and clear Arcana's field, and on the next turn he grabs yet another Mystic Lamp and activates the effect again. This guy is just getting the worst draws imaginable. I consider summoning Time Wizard in defense mode to see if I can bait Arcana into attacking it with a Shadow Monster, but then decide, nah, screw it, we ball. After knocking him down to his last 290 life point, he finally draws Candle of Faith, but I've been waiting for him with Arm Ninja in my hand the whole duel.
Where's your magic now, fool?
With 2 back-to-back wins and the most busted RNG luck I think I've ever seen, I get a pig-headed and decide the sky's the limit. Yugi appears in the choice shop, and I decide to battle him too, even though he isn't a mandatory encounter, and he completely destroys me. That'll teach me to get my hopes up. Yugi's deck is interesting. Like Joey, and pretty much everyone else in this game, he doesn't seem to have a lot of cards he actually played in the anime. That being said, his deck is considerably better than most of the other decks I've come across up until now, since he seems to have a rather diverse deck built up of a variety of elements. I'd actually be halfway interested to see how far I can get in this game with Yugi's deck, if enough people want to see that. His cards are way stronger than mine, and he's got an awful lot of light monsters which can instant kill my Cyberstein and Red Eyes. Now, you may have noticed that I somehow managed to get 2 monsters on my field and Red Eyes in my hand, and Metal Morph, which should mean that I could summon Red Eyes and make him a Shadow Monster, thus removing the threat of him being taken out by a Light Monster. But what you didn't know is that this version of Yugi has Time Wizard, and that is definitely the reason that I didn't summon Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon, and it's not at all that I forgot that was a thing I could do. I can't believe I was so confident that I could beat Yugi that I actually bet my Jinzo on it.
You just blowing from Stupid Town?
Following this, I decided I'd better head to the park before calling it quits. Now, I have no faith I'll actually beat anybody in the park, because if we're being perfectly honest, I didn't even think I'd get this far. But seeing as I have, I might as well see if I can push this thing all the way to the end. I mean, why not, right? Now, the reason why I didn't think I'd get very far in the park is because I thought every duelist here has a forest field, but actually that special benefit is reserved only for Weevil Underwood and his buddies. So everybody else is a neutral field, and monsters with only 600 attack points. In fact, because these monsters have multiple copies of cards like Little Chimera and Quacky Duck, I can actually use my useless forest monsters like Steel Scorpion and Mechanical Spider to be somewhat helpful. Though, since I can't use or get any anti-cards, I decided to stop wasting time dueling the NPC duelists and go straight for Weevil. And right away, things are dire straits. I have to defeat all 3 of Weevil's buddy to progress, and they all have the forest field to start with and decks built to take full advantage of it. And we have new problems to deal with too. Little Chimera, Tentacle Plant, Air Marmot of Nefariousness, and Kogarashi make life hard for poor Joey's deck here, because with the forest field up, there's not much you can do to stop these things. At this point in the game, everything but Cyberstein is useless. Even Eye Armor has seriously fallen off, because most of my opponent's weakest monsters now average at 650 attack points, and even Cyberstein is seriously starting to rust, because now on top of that, we have Gale Dogra and Winged Cleaver who get boosted to 850 945 and 910 attack points respectively. There is nothing this deck can do if either one of those monsters hits the field. Just one of these dudes is borderline impossible to beat, and I have to do it 3 times. Not to mention, they all have the exact same deck, so even if I get the math right and beat them once, I still have to play the odds against the other two until they both get defeated too. But if you do the math, there is a chance, if I get enough bad draws from them, meaning they summon monsters with less than 700 attack points, and I wall them off with Cyberstein and Masked Clown, I could hypothetically summon Guilford or Red Eyes and actually take the win. Aside from all their powerful Beast Plant and Insect monsters, they still have some really garbage cards like Dark Plant and Legwool and Caterpillar. So there is a chance that I can make this work. I take a deep breath, buckle up, and bang my head against the wall, and in one of my many duels, I got some insane luck, starting off with Cyberstein, Metal Morph, and Red Eyes, and my opponent bricked. I summon my Stein and go for an attack, but get caught in Infinite Dismissal. This card is really scary because it stops an attack from any monster. I can make this work just so long as he doesn't summon anything that can kill my Stein. Next turn, the guy plays a monster in defense, and I get yet another Cyberstein. If these 2 Cybersteins can survive the next turn, I can actually win this duel. Summon Cyberstein, attack his monster, cross my fingers, and oh yeah, he's got nothing. I declare that it's proficiently Red Eyesing time, and Red Eyes all over the place. I turn him into Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon to get some extra damage numbers, and after that, I just keep summoning monsters in attack position to bait out the AI to summon their monsters in attack position so I can deal direct damage using my Black Metal Dragon. Now, it must be said, that duel was sheer luck, and at this point, mine has all but run out. A lot of these duels do not end quickly for me, and sometimes my opponent will just summon Gale Dogra or Wing Cleaver and let me know right away that I'm dead in the water. But what's worse than that is that sometimes my opponent will brick their hand real bad, and so will I. More than once, I've actually managed to wall off attacks with Masked Clown and even gotten a Guilford or Red Eyes in my hand, but I couldn't draw another Masked Clown or Cyberstein to keep the momentum going, and end up losing because my opponent draws an out to my clown before I can get a stronger monster on the board. These losses are so painful because I am at the mercy of RNG, and it just does not want to give me any more love after that beatdown it delivered me against Arcana. I think the Goddess of Luck actually wants compensation for that. I'm in debt now. The worst part is, beating one of Weevil's lackeys has actually confirmed to me that this deck is capable of defeating the rest of them. So I throw myself at the wall until my fingers are numb, and I gotta tell you, the results were crazy. For starters, due to how the game calculates RNG, it's actually more efficient to lose duels than it is to restart.
I chose death!
Because, to make a very long story short, if I restart the game the moment my opponent summons a card I can't beat, I risk the chance of the random number generation resulting in the exact same situation that I just got out of. And I don't mean like a similar, I mean the literal exact beat for beat situation. Speaking of how the game calculates RNG, there's a way to actually manipulate that so you can start any duel with any starting hand you want. But I can't really abuse that system either because I have absolutely no idea how it works. All that I understood from an explanation that I got off of YouTube is that how this game calculates your starting hand is dependent upon the order in which you put cards into your deck and the direction that NPCs were walking in. I did try some RNG manipulation by randomly shuffling the cards in my deck, but I think I might have actually made my situation even worse than it was before. And to make matters even worse, RNG manipulation won't even fix the situation that I'm in, even if I was perfect at it, because all the deck stacking I can do to my own hand won't mean a thing if my opponent just summons a monster that's stronger than anything in my deck. So all in all, it kind of just seems like a total waste of time. In the end, I just go full throttle on the brute force front until I can't take anymore, and finally something wins. After God knows how many attempts, I get the most goated starting hand with Masked Clown and Guilford the Lightning. Now all I need is for my opponent to draw 2 bricks in a row, and he does. I throw out Guilford the Lightning, and the rest of this duel plays out just like the first one. 2 down, 1 to go. Now I'm energized. I've got momentum. I just don't stop challenging the dude until he gives. After an hour of non-stop attempts, I eventually get the exact same situation. A Cyberstein, a Masked Clown, bam! Guilford the Lightning, and that's all she wrote. Now I'm finally down to Weevil.
I thought I smelled a dung beetle.
That's my greeting after all this time.
I never thought I'd make this though. I thought for sure I'd be stuck at Rex and Arcana forever. But Weevil might just be the wall that I can't get over. Firstly, his deck isn't the same as his follows. It's way better. He's got not 1, not 2, but 3 Wing Cleavers, and a new threat called Bladefly, who has over 700 attack points. Basic Insect has over 700 defense points thanks to the Forest, and this dude actually has 1 single copy of Pinch Hop. Hopper. This card has 1,000 attack points, a whole grand, and on the force field, that power raises even further to 1,300 attack points. That's almost double my Cyberstein. Given the number of times I challenged people, I actually saw this disgusting dung beetle several times. As if its attack points weren't bad enough, it can actually sacrifice itself to summon any insect in Weevil's hand. And you might think that's a bit silly, since, I mean, what could possibly be stronger than a 1,300 attack Pinch Hopper? This said nobody ever. Well, would you believe me if I told you that Weevil actually has a tribute monster? Say hello to the Insect Queen, who every time it's summoned will power itself up to 3,300 attack points.
Patrick,
Yes, SpongeBob?
I don't think this bubble can get much bigger.
Nonsense!
This beats everything. Even if I have Guilford or Red Eyes, Insect Queen will still topple it. Masked Clown is completely useless in this fight because even if Weevil summons his weakest monster like Basic Insect or Legwool, Masked Clown can only block attacks. It can't counterattack. So if Weevil builds up too much of a board presence, he can summon the Insect Queen and that's game. There is technically a chance. For starters, I have to. Let me repeat. I have to go first. If I go second, Weevil can already start building up field presence and I will not be able to recover from it. I need to summon Cyberstein or Masked Clown and I have to tribute them on my third turn for either Red Eyes or Guilford. So even if I RNG manipulate them into the perfect hand, Weevil still has to draw cards that have less than 700 attack points, which is basically the minority of his deck. And then, after summoning Red Eyes or Guilford, I still am not in the clear, because Weevil has two nasty tricks up his sleeve. If he draws Pinch Hopper while he has Insect Queen in his hand, I'm dead, but there's another card that he has waiting for me too. He hasn't played it yet, but it's a card called Parasite's Parasite. This card infects your strongest monster and turns it into the Parasite. Even if I summon Red Eyes or Guilford, I'm not clear, because Parasite can overwrite them. So the only way that I can win this is if I go first, summon Cyberstein or Masked Clown, Weevil bricks 2 turns in a row, I summon Red Eyes, and I can finish him off before he can draw any of his potential outs. I don't have a specific number for you for what the probability that is, but I'm gonna guess it's some percentage close to 0. But that's still a chance, so I tried it. I really did, but I just could not make it work. Attempt after attempt, battle after battle, brick after brick, I never even came close. Well, that's not true, actually. I did come close. Once, I actually got 3 monsters onto the board one time, while Weevil drew nothing but useless cards. I just kept hoping and praying to get a Red Eyes or a Guilford, but it never came. And then, right on cue, Weevil did it. And just look at these endgame boards. Weevil's board is either packed with monsters or he's got a giant insect beast to beat me into submission. Hey, so if nothing else, he's lore accurate at least. Mathematically, there's a chance, but I'd need MatPat from Game Theory to tell me what it is. So to answer the question that I asked at the start of this video, can you beat the Sacred Cards as Joey? Well, as of right now, I gotta say no. Not unless someone watching this video has any idea how I could possibly beat the odds. Thank you so much for watching this video. It really means a lot to me that you stuck around this long, and happy 2026. I'm hoping to make a lot of other videos this year, but I was also hoping to get this video done by the 6th, so I guess we'll see. If you liked the video, please leave a comment telling me what you thought, and if you disliked the video, then leave a comment telling me how stupid I am. Regardless of which, I hope you have a good day, night, morning, evening, afternoon, dawn, dusk, or whatever. Happy 2026, and I'll see you around.
Red Eyes Dark Dragoon!